Hey everyone, it's Will from Garage Built Athlete. Welcome back to the channel. If you've been following along, you'll know that for the last 30 days, I handed over control of my body to two AIs. So ChatGPT was handling my nutrition and Gemini was handling my workouts. To give you some background, I find it quite straightforward to lean out, drop weight, and improve my fitness. But what I've never really managed to do well is put on good size and strength. So I wanted to utilize AI to see if I could do that in an effective way while still being able to perform in my CrossFit workouts 4 to 5 times a week. And in this video, I'm going to show you how it went, what I learned, and what you need to know if you're going to use AI to help you with your fitness goals. So the rules were pretty simple. ChatGPT built my muscle-focused nutrition plan. I wanted to have vegan dinners with flexible breakfasts, lunches, and snacks. The reason being, I spend a lot of time with Becky, she's vegan, and in the evening times we can have those meals together. I asked Gemini to create a 3-day-a-week bodybuilding plan, which I could use on top of my existing CrossFit workouts. I let Gemini know what equipment I had here in the garage, how often I wanted to train, and it came up with some pretty tried and tested bodybuilding movements, rep schemes, and made some good use of what I told it I had. The sessions themselves took, if I wasn't messing about, 30 to 45 minutes. But you know, I'm in my own gym here. I can take all the time I want. Sometimes maybe they pushed out to an hour and 15, depending on how energetic I was. And that was a key measure for me because I was training in the mornings before work with CrossFit and then fitting these bodybuilding sessions in around them. The fatigue levels were a real indicator of how effectively I was training, how much I was able to recover between sessions and go again. And this is what the programming looked like. If you've dabbled in traditional gym workouts, bodybuilding sessions, you'll be aware of the push-pull leg split. And that's exactly what Gemini provided me with. Push on a Monday, international chest day, obviously benching on a Monday. We do legs on a Wednesday and then pull on a Friday. In each of the weekly vlogs I've done up until this point, I've showcased those workouts. So go back and check them out if you want to see them in more detail. But this is what they look like as a summary. So on the push day, barbell bench press, overhead press with a barbell, dumbbell bench press, overhead dumbbell tricep extensions and lateral dumbbell raises. Each of the exercises having 3 sets with a small variance in the rep scheme. Some 8 to 12 reps, some 12 to 15 reps, some 15 to 20 reps, depending on the movement. And this is all based on what I had here. The leg session, barbell back squats, Romanian deadlift, walk-in lunge, glute bridges with a barbell, and calf raises with a barbell. And then the pull session, which by the end of the week, it always felt like the toughest session. Pull-ups, barbell rows, dumbbell rows, bicep curls, face pulls, hanging leg raises, and planks. So a little bit of core work on the pull-up session as well. Now I'm fairly well versed with exercise, movements, workout plans. I do some programming for myself as well when the time arises. I was really keen to see what Gemini pulled together, and because AI just scrapes existing content from the internet, you're never going to get anything revolutionary from this unless you are really specific and really ask for something off the wall. It gave me a very good basic structure to work from, and I stuck to it week on week, adding small progressions in weight or reps. Okay, so ChatGPT handled my food. This was a little trickier to get to grips with initially. The more specific you can get with ChatGPT, especially on nutrition and what you want, the better results you're going to get. But I wanted to go quite basic and quite broad. So my only real criteria was I let it know what I wanted to do in terms of building muscle and size, and I let it know what specific meals I wanted to be vegan, and everything else it made, with dairy, meats, cheese, eggs, all that kind of stuff. With both the workout and the nutrition, what you get is information but no instruction. For example, ChatGPT gave me meals but no recipes to make the meals. Anabolic oats, for example, it would give me 50 grams of oats, 250 ml of milk, a tablespoon of peanut butter, and a scoop of protein powder. Okay, it's great. If you know how to make oats, perfect, go ahead. If you don't, you then have to go and look that up or ask it to tell you, or ask it to give you instructions, which you can do. Then it gave me a shopping list. What I found when I got back from the supermarket was that it didn't actually give me all the ingredients that I needed to make some of the meals. So whilst it had got the ingredients for the majority of meals it asked me to make, there were some instances where I didn't have what it was telling me I needed. There was quite a small instance of that, and I think you could really sharpen that up by being more specific. That's when I really realized that AI doesn't know what I forgot to ask. Whilst it is quite smart to prompt you and ask you questions and give you ideas, the more detail I asked for on recipes, on macros, the better the output that I got. So it won't hold your hand throughout the whole thing, but it will give you a really good starting point to build a plan from. I'd say if you know absolutely nothing about nutrition, you might need to ask it for some information first before you then go and ask it to build you a plan. Most of the meals I've enjoyed. There might be something in my cooking method, but everything was dry.
So the chicken is dry.
Wow, that's dry. I thought that chicken was dry. Jesus! Especially when I prep the food for the week. So when asked to cook potatoes, if a meal had 200 grams of potatoes for a lunch, plus the 200 grams of chicken and the broccoli, I would cook that all in one batch. And the potatoes and the chicken the next day, I'm choking them down. So had I been more specific to say, actually, I want the chicken cooked in some sort of sauce that would enable the same results, I may have had a better experience with the food. But that's where AI doesn't know that I don't know that. And you have to give it some more information to help build the best plan for you. I've actually really enjoyed the volume of food and the meals that I've been having. It's taken a lot of the mental fatigue out of what I'm going to be eating, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And it's been really easy to follow and really easy to stick to. I've never felt like I'm so stuffed full of food I couldn't possibly eat. It's actually been a good, steady intake of food throughout the days and the weeks, which I feel has helped with recovery and energy levels. I'm basically feeling like I'm not being restricted or feel like I can't have something, because there's been some really good, satisfying meals throughout the whole of the month. And what I thought I'd do partway through is a crossover test and see, well, I wonder what would happen if I asked ChatGPT to do my workouts and Google Gemini to do my nutrition. The result was they were almost identical to each other's. And the biggest difference really wasn't the result that it gave me and the information that it provided me with. It was more around the interface and how I like to use the AI and what the interaction was off the back of it. Now, some people might prefer ChatGPT's conversational tone, and others might like Gemini's layout or the integrations that it has. So it really comes down to what you enjoy using. I'd encourage you to try out both and see what resonates with you so you can get the most enjoyment out of it. So unlike working with a PT, another human, being able to see your progress, see your energy levels, understand your limitations, understand where you need to push, where you need to pull back, where your recovery's at. Gemini didn't know anything about that. It also didn't know what CrossFit workouts I was doing, mainly because I didn't know what CrossFit workouts I was doing until they get put up on the programming at the start of the week. So it was up to me to really place the right bodybuilding workouts alongside the CrossFit workouts. So that was key. It was down to me to manage my fatigue and my recovery, make sure that I wasn't exposing myself to an excess risk of injury. So knowing your body really matters with that. Being able to push yourself where you feel you can push, and maybe allow yourself a little bit of extra rest where you need that to recover to then perform in the next session that you're going into. AI can't feel that. AI can't see how you move and what your performance looks like, whereas an actual coach or PT can absolutely do that for you. So now the results. In terms of size, I've taken progress videos throughout the week, so you can see now side by side where I started and where I am after 30 days. On the scales, I added 0.7 kilos total in that 30 days. That's just under 200 grams a week. Okay, there was a big spike when I went to Nottingham and stuffed my face full of donuts, but that leveled out after a while and wasn't exactly on plan. So yeah, I wasn't super strict with it, but I'm okay with that. As I record this, I've carried on the bodybuilding workouts and nutrition plan. I'm actually into week 6 and coming up to another weigh-in. At the start of this week, I was a kilo up from my starting weight. So that's 200 grams a week of what looks to be decent weight. I'm not smoothing over too much from it, and I'm quite happy with the progress so far. So much so, I'm going to continue past week 6 and continue and continue and continue. If I can put on a kilo in a month, then in 10 months, I'm going to be 10 kilos up of, fingers crossed, the right sort of weight. I have every intention of not becoming a fat squelch whilst I'm doing this, which is why it's so important to stick to the diet as much as possible and continue to work hard in all the workouts and continue to progress up the weight, up the reps, up the intensity. My final thoughts then. AI, it's not perfect, but it is a powerful tool. It gave me structure, ideas, and it helped keep me consistent. I like to have those guidelines to follow and stick to. If you give me too much freedom, I'm going to go all over the place. So give me that clarity, and that vision was super helpful. But it's not a coach. It won't check your form. It won't ask you how you're feeling. The key is to give it good instructions, and then you make the decisions from there. The better your instructions, the better quality product you're going to get out of it. I think it's definitely one to play with, and I'd encourage you to give it a go. And on that note, would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. If you're willing to think and adapt, if you don't want to think and you don't want to have to make changes on the fly, absolutely. Seek out a professional who can help you. Somebody who knows what they're talking about, and somebody who's really going to keep you accountable if you can't do that for yourself. If you want to try it for yourself, let me know in the comments below. And if this helped you or inspired you, please do like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next challenge. See ya!